Beloved, there comes a moment in every life when the wind feels like it is whispering your name, when the air is so still that even the silence begins to speak, and you sense that something larger, grander, infinitely more loving than you can fathom, is leaning close to your ear. It is in these moments that the Almighty folds Himself into your awareness and begins to speak, not with thunder, and not with fire, though sometimes those may come, but with a voice so tender that you can only hear it when your heart is still enough to listen. And if you are here, if these words are touching your spirit, it is not by accident. There is no randomness in the kingdom of God. The same God who measured the oceans with the palm of His hand has aligned the seconds, minutes, and hours, so that this very breath you are taking right now is set to the rhythm of His will, and this message is His way of saying to you, "My child, I am speaking. Can you hear me?" The first sign is the one you feel before you can name it, a restlessness deep inside you, not the kind of restlessness that drives you toward distraction or escape, but the kind that makes you search for meaning in the cracks of every day. It is the Holy Spirit stirring your waters, moving you to a place where comfort is no longer enough, where mediocrity feels like a cage, and you sense there is a calling pulling you upward. This is God loosening your roots from dry soil, preparing to transplant you into a richer, deeper, more fruitful ground. And if you resist it, you will find no peace until you yield, for it is His mercy that makes the nest uncomfortable when it is time for you to fly. The second sign is the echo that comes in threes. You hear the same message from a sermon, a friend, a stranger's passing words, a line in a book, a song on the radio, all aligning in a pattern too precise to be coincidence. That is God weaving His words through the fabric of your life, confirming over and over what He is trying to tell you. When the same truth knocks on your door again and again, it is because heaven refuses to let you miss it. Listen, lean into it. God is not in the business of wasting words, and when He repeats Himself, it is because the matter is urgent for your growth, your protection, or your destiny. The third sign is the deep peace that makes no earthly sense. Storms may rage, bills may be due, your future may be a fog you cannot see through, but somewhere inside, there is a stillness like a hidden lake that no trouble can touch. The world will call it denial, but you will know it is the hand of God holding you steady. This peace is not the absence of struggle, it is the presence of His promise. And when you feel it, understand that God Himself is speaking through it, telling you, "I am with you, I am for you, you are safe in my will." That peace is not ordinary. It is a seal of His presence over your situation. The fourth sign is the holy dissatisfaction with things that once satisfied you. The conversations that once entertained now feel shallow. The habits that once numbed you now leave you empty. The places you used to run to for comfort no longer hold you. That is God upgrading your appetite, removing the taste for lesser things so that you might hunger for the bread of heaven. It is a painful mercy, because it strips you from what is familiar, but it is also a holy invitation, because He will never take from you without giving you something far greater. When you feel the hunger change, know that God is speaking through it, calling you closer to His table. The fifth sign is divine disruption. Doors close without warning, plans unravel, opportunities you were certain about suddenly vanish, people you thought would walk with you step away. It feels like loss, but in heaven's language it is redirection. God speaks not only through open doors but through closed ones, and sometimes His loudest "go here" is spoken through a firm "not there." When you find yourself staring at a wall you cannot climb, consider that perhaps it is not a wall but a shield, keeping you from what would have harmed you. Trust that what He removes, He replaces in His perfect time. The sixth sign is the sudden weight of conviction, not shame, not condemnation, but the gentle, relentless tug on your conscience that says, "This is not who you are. You were made for better." That conviction is God's love in action, shaping you, pruning you, refining you. It is his voice correcting your course, so that you do not drift too far from the path he has prepared. It is the lighthouse beam sweeping over dark waters, guiding your ship home. When conviction comes, do not run from it. Run toward the one who sent it. His correction is proof of his claim on your life. And the seventh sign, the one that makes all others come alive, is the unexplainable alignment of your steps. You meet the right people at the right time. The resources appear just when you need them. The timing is so precise that it feels as if the whole universe is conspiring in your favor. That is not luck, my dear. That is the orchestration of a God who sees the end from the beginning, a God who has been arranging the details long before you even knew you would need them. When everything clicks into place, it is his way of whispering, "I told you I was here, I told you I was working, I told you I was speaking, and so I tell you now." Do not dismiss the restlessness, the repetition, the peace, the hunger, the disruption, the conviction, or the alignment. Each is a syllable in the sentence God is speaking over your life. Each is a thread in the tapestry he is weaving for your future. Do not let the noise of the world drown them out. This is a holy hour for you. The breath in your lungs right now is his permission for you to begin again, to walk boldly, to release the chains you have been dragging and step into the field. He has been preparing for you. You are not here by chance. The same voice that spoke galaxies into being is speaking to you in this moment, telling you that you are seen, that you are loved, that your life matters, and that there is work for you to do. Rise to meet it. Do not delay. For when God speaks, the wise do not debate. They move. And yet, beloved, I know the heart wrestles with questions when the divine voice calls, for though we long for heaven's direction, we are also creatures of habit who cling to the safety of what we know. When God begins to speak, the voice often carries you to the edge of yourself, to the place where your old life cannot hold the weight of your new calling. It is here that fear will whisper to you, trying to convince you that the signs are just coincidences, that the timing is wrong, that you are not ready. But let me remind you, God has never called the ready, he calls the willing, and he shapes them along the way. You do not need to have every answer before you obey. All you need is to place your trembling hand into his steady one, for his grip will not fail you. He is the Father who does not let his children walk into darkness without light, the shepherd who knows every bend of the path, the Creator who knows every thought before it forms in your mind. And perhaps right now, you feel that restlessness I spoke of earlier, pressing against your chest, as though something inside is pounding to be born. You wake at night, and stare at the ceiling, not in worry, but in wonder, sensing that something is coming. Do not brush this away as mere imagination. The Spirit stirs in the night as surely as the wind stirs the ocean tides. Those sleepless hours are not accidents, they are invitations. They are the moments when heaven is still enough for you to hear it clearly, when distractions have fallen away, and your spirit can hear the whisper of the eternal. I am doing something in you that you cannot yet see. And if you have noticed the repetition, that same phrase or verse or truth following you like a shadow, know that you are being pursued by a relentless love. When a sermon pierces you, and then a friend unknowingly speaks the same truth, and then a stranger's casual words align with what you have already heard, do not dismiss it as chance. God is weaving these moments into a pattern you will one day see fully. It is as though he is painting on a canvas so large you cannot yet see the whole picture, but every stroke is intentional, every color chosen to fit the masterpiece of your life. And one day you will stand back and say, "It was all there. He was telling me all along." That peace that makes no sense to the world, that, my dear, is one of heaven's greatest gifts. In the midst of chaos you find yourself unshaken. You watch others panic, but you feel a steady calm, like the roots of a tree drinking deeply from an underground spring. You cannot manufacture such peace. It does not come from meditation apps or from repeating mantras. It is supernatural. It is the peace of Christ Himself, planted in you to anchor you against the waves. That peace speaks to you more loudly than any sermon, for it is God's way of telling you that you are exactly where you need to be, even if your eyes have not yet seen the outcome. And oh, when the hunger changes, when the things you once chased no longer taste sweet, do not despair. This is a holy thing. You are being prepared for a banquet far richer than you have known. When God changes your appetite, it can feel like loss because the old pleasures no longer fill you. Friends may not understand why the old places and old conversations no longer hold your attention, but your spirit knows. You are being drawn closer to the heart of God, and He is not willing to let you be satisfied with crumbs when He has prepared a feast. This hunger is your compass. It will guide you to the places where your soul will thrive. The disruptions, oh the disruptions, how they hurt when they come. Plans fall apart, opportunities evaporate, and you are left staring at empty hands where you thought you held certainty. But understand this: God does not close a door to punish you. He closes it to protect you. The no's of God are just as loving as His yeses, though they often hurt more in the moment. That sudden ending, that relationship that dissolved, that dream that crumbled, these are not the end of your story. They are redirections. They are the hand of God turning you from what would have wounded you and guiding you toward what will grow you. Conviction, too, is one of His clearest voices. It is not the heavy chain of guilt the enemy uses to shame you. It is the gentle hand on your shoulder steering you away from harm. You may feel it when you speak a word you should not have spoken, when you linger in a place your spirit does not belong, when you ignore the prompt to show kindness, or when you cling to something God has been asking you to release. That tug inside is not there to condemn you. It is there to save you. The Creator who knows the depth of your soul knows also the dangers that lurk ahead. His conviction is the guardrail on the mountain road, keeping you from falling where you cannot see the drop. And then comes the alignment, the breathtaking orchestration of events that cannot be explained by logic. You will find yourself meeting someone who has the exact resource you need. You will stumble upon the one piece of information that answers the question you've been wrestling with for months. You will be in the right place at the right time, and you will know this is not luck, this is divine arrangement. God's fingerprints are on every detail, from the smallest coincidence to the largest breakthrough. And when this happens, something in you will stand taller, because you will know you are not wandering aimlessly. You are being led. Beloved, all of these signs are not random scatterings. They are the language of heaven, spoken in ways your spirit can recognize if only you will slow down and listen. Too often we rush past them, dismiss them, or explain them away. But what if, just for today, you chose to believe that the Almighty is speaking directly to you? What if you received each restlessness, each repeated word, each wave of peace, each change in appetite, each disruption, each moment of conviction, and each alignment as though they were personal letters from God's own hand? Would you not walk differently? Would you not hold your head higher? Not in pride, but in the quiet confidence of one who knows they are guided by love. I tell you this, not as one who has never doubted, but as one who has walked through the desert and heard the faint whisper that kept me moving forward. There were days when I questioned every step, when the signs seemed unclear, when silence felt like abandonment. But I learned that even in His quiet, God is speaking. The absence of noise is sometimes His way of drawing your ear closer, and in time, the signs became undeniable. He had been guiding me all along, even when I could not see it, even when I thought I was lost, and He is doing the same for you right now. So I plead with you, do not wait for the skies to part, or the earth to quake before you believe He is speaking. His voice may be in the very thing you are tempted to overlook. The message may already be pulsing through your days, woven into the ordinary moments, disguised in the familiar faces, hidden in the disruptions, wrapped in the peace. He is speaking, my dear. The question is, will you answer? Will you trust him enough to step forward when you cannot see the whole path? Will you believe that the same God who set the stars in their places can set your feet in the way they should go? Because the truth is this: when God speaks, he does not speak to fill the air. He speaks to move you, to shape you, to call you into something greater. And the longer you wait, the longer you linger in the safety of the known, the longer you delay the blessings he has prepared. There is no safer place than obedience. There is no surer path than the one he marks with his voice, and there is no greater tragedy than ignoring the one who is speaking life into your bones this very moment. And so, beloved, as you hear these words, feel the weight of his nearness. Let it stir you, let it awaken you, let it move you beyond fear, beyond hesitation, beyond the limits you have placed upon yourself. For you are not alone, and you are not without direction. The author of your story is still writing, and his voice is guiding the pen. Listen, trust, and above all, move. For the God who speaks is the God who leads, and the God who leads is the God who loves you beyond measure. And yet, even as the voice of God moves through the currents of your life, there will be days when your ears are full of noise, when the clamor of fear and doubt tries to drown him out, when the troubles of the world bang against your door like an unrelenting storm. In those moments, you will be tempted to believe that he has gone silent, that perhaps the signs you thought you saw were illusions, dreams conjured by your own longing. But my dear, I tell you the truth, God's silence is not his absence. Even in the stillness, even in the waiting, even when the heavens seem locked and the answers are delayed, he is speaking. The pause is his language too, for sometimes his voice comes as a command, sometimes as a comfort, and sometimes as a holy hush, bidding you to trust what he has already said, until the next word arrives. And you will learn, if you walk with him long enough, that his voice is not always what you expect. It will not always confirm your preferences, or affirm the path you already chose. Sometimes it will lead you in the opposite direction of your comfort. Sometimes it will strip away what you thought you could not live without. Sometimes it will invite you into deep waters where the bottom cannot be touched. And it is here, in the deep, that you will come to know him not only as the one who speaks, but as the one who holds. For his voice is not just instruction, it is presence. It is the assurance that you are never walking alone, that even when you do not know the way, you are being guided by a hand that cannot fail. There will be moments when his voice comes as fire in your bones, urging you to act when you feel unready, to speak when your lips tremble, to love when your heart is still healing. You will want to resist, to wait for a more convenient time, but the voice of God does not bow to convenience, it bends your will toward obedience. And you will find, on the other side of that obedience, that the thing you feared was the very thing that unlocked the next chapter of your life. His voice will lead you into rooms you never imagined, conversations you never planned, opportunities that will seem too large for you to carry. But remember, it is not your strength that brought you there, it is his, and he will sustain you in the place he has placed you. And sometimes his voice will come in gentleness, like a mother smoothing her child's hair after a long day, reminding you that you are not what you have lost, that you are not defined by the mistakes you made, that you are not abandoned in your grief. He will speak in ways that restore the pieces of you that you thought would never be whole again. You will hear him in the laughter of a child, in the kindness of a stranger, in the way the sunrise spills gold across a weary earth. And you will know in the marrow of your bones that this is a God who delights in you, not because of what you can do for him, but simply because you are his. But I must tell you, when God is speaking, there will always be competing voices, fear, pride, insecurity, the opinions of others, and they will do their best to confuse you. This is why you must learn the timbre of his voice, the way a shepherd's sheep know the sound of their master's call. You learn it by leaning in, by making space for silence, by measuring every word you hear against the truth of his written word. You learn it by choosing stillness over constant movement, prayer over panic, faith over reasoning that denies the miraculous. For his voice will never contradict his nature, and his nature is love, truth, holiness, and mercy. And the day will come when you will look back on your life and see the thread of his voice weaving through every season, the restless stirrings that pulled you out of stagnation, the repeated confirmations that gave you courage to step forward, the peace that carried you through the storms, the hunger that drew you closer to him, the disruptions that turned out to be protection, the convictions that refined you, the alignments that could not be explained any other way. And you will realize that even the moments you thought were silent were filled with his speaking, for his voice is not bound to sound, it is bound to his heart for you. So do not let the weight of uncertainty keep you still. When you sense that nudge, when the signs align, when the peace comes, when the hunger grows, when the door shuts, when the conviction burns, when the pieces fall perfectly into place, move. Do not waste the voice of God by waiting for more certainty than faith requires. You are not called to have the whole map. You are called to follow the one who holds it. Every step you take in obedience will lead to the next sign, the next word, the next miracle. And before you know it, you will have walked from the valley into the mountaintop, guided not by your own wisdom, but by the unshakable voice of the Almighty. And when the path grows long, and the night grows deep, remember this: his voice is not limited by your condition. Whether you are strong or weak, joyful or weary, clear-eyed or confused, he can speak into any state of your being. There is no pit so deep that his word cannot reach, no wilderness so vast that his whisper cannot find you. And when it does, it will bring with it the same power that called light out of darkness, the same authority that parted seas, the same tenderness that caught a wayward child in his arms. This is the voice that is speaking to you now, in this moment, as surely as it spoke to prophets and kings and shepherds long ago. And it has not lost its power, not one drop of it. So, beloved, open the ears of your spirit. Let his voice wash over you like rain on dry ground. Let it revive the places in you that have grown numb. Let it tear down the lies that have kept you bound. Let it draw you out of the shadows and into the wide open field of his will. For every word he speaks is life, and every life that listens will be transformed. And you, my dear, are not an exception. You are his, and he is speaking. And the world will never be the same when you decide to answer. And when you answer, something will shift not only within you but around you, because the voice of God does not speak into emptiness, it speaks into creation, into destiny, into transformation. The moment you say yes to him, all of heaven leans in, and the earth begins to rearrange itself to match the word he has spoken over your life. Paths will open where there were none. Resources will emerge from places you never thought to look. Strength will rise in you like a tide, and you will find yourself doing what once seemed impossible, not because you became someone greater in your own power, but because his voice awakened the greatness he had hidden inside you from the beginning. That is the miracle of God speaking. It calls forth the treasure in you that you did not know existed, the hidden seed of purpose that has been waiting for the rain of his word to grow. Do not underestimate the power of that rain, for it carries within it everything you need to flourish. His voice is not a mere suggestion, it is a command wrapped in love, a decree that cannot return void. When he speaks a thing, it begins to happen even before your eyes see it. It moves in the unseen first, rearranging circumstances, aligning hearts, breaking chains and clearing paths, so that by the time it manifests in your reality, it has already been fully prepared in the heavenly realm. That is why faith is essential. You must learn to trust the word before you see the work. And as you trust, you will learn that every time God speaks, the universe obeys. Mountains shift, seas part, seasons change, because the Creator has uttered a word, and creation recognizes its master's voice. And in those moments when you feel unworthy of such speaking, remember this: God does not speak to you because you have earned it. He speaks because you are His. His voice is not a wage for your perfection. It is an inheritance of your belonging. You are the child of the Almighty, and a father cannot help but speak to his children. Even when you have wandered far, even when you have chosen lesser things, even when you have ignored Him for days, weeks, or years, His voice will find a way to reach you. It may come through the unexpected kindness of a stranger, through a sudden wave of conviction, through a scripture you had long forgotten, through a song that catches your soul and will not let go. And when it does, do not turn away in shame. Turn toward Him, for the very fact that He is speaking means He has already prepared a way back for you. The beauty of His voice is that it is not bound by human language. It can speak in visions, in dreams, in signs, in the unshakable knowing that sits in your spirit. It can speak in the rustle of leaves, in the stillness of a sunrise, in the thunder of a storm. And it will never grow tired of speaking to you, because His desire is not merely to give you direction, it is to draw you into relationship. To hear His voice is to be reminded that you are not navigating life alone, that you have a guide, a teacher, a friend who sees further than you ever could. And that realization should give you a courage that nothing else can. For when you know you are being led by the one who knows the end from the beginning, fear loses its power to control you. But hear me well, to walk with God's voice guiding you, is to walk a road that will often make little sense to the watching world. People may not understand why you turned down that opportunity, why you moved to that place, why you let go of that relationship, why you risked what seemed secure for what seemed uncertain. But you will know, it was not your choice alone. It was the echo of heaven guiding your steps. And you must be willing to live in that tension, to be misunderstood by others in order to be fully understood by God. For obedience to His voice will always lead you into alignment with His heart, even if it leads you out of alignment with popular opinion. There will also be seasons when His voice asks you to wait, and this will be the hardest command of all, for we are not a people who love to wait. We want answers now, movement now, breakthrough now. But the waiting season is holy, for it is in the waiting that roots grow deep, that faith is refined, that patience is perfected. In the waiting, His voice will come as reminders, as gentle assurances, as small but undeniable confirmations that you are still on the right path. And if you can learn to embrace the waiting as much as the moving, you will find that His voice becomes your constant companion, not just your occasional guide. And when at last the waiting ends, and the thing He has been speaking into your spirit begins to take shape before your eyes, you will know it was worth it. You will see that every no, every delay, every closed door was not rejection, it was preparation. You will see how the signs all along the way were pieces of a puzzle that only makes sense now that it is complete. And you will fall to your knees, not in regret for the time that passed, but in awe of the one who wastes nothing, who speaks not only to the moment but to the entirety of your life's story. And perhaps the most wondrous thing of all is this: the more you follow His voice, the more attuned you become to it. Like the melody of a familiar song, it becomes easier to recognize even in the midst of noise. It becomes the anchor in your storms, the compass in your wanderings, the fire in your bones when weariness tries to settle in. You will find yourself seeking it daily, not out of desperation but out of desire, because you have tasted the sweetness of being led by the one who cannot fail. And as you seek, you will discover that His voice does not merely tell you where to go. It tells you who you are. It calls you beloved when you feel unworthy. It calls you chosen when you feel overlooked. It calls you mighty when you feel weak. It calls you home when you feel lost. So now, beloved, hear me with the ears of your heart. God is speaking to you right now, not to the person next to you, not to someone more spiritual than you, not to a future version of you who has it all together. He is speaking to you as you are, where you are in this very moment. Every sign, every whisper, every stirring is His way of drawing you nearer. And you have a choice, either to dismiss it and keep walking the path you already know, or to lean in, to listen, and to step into the unknown with Him. And I promise you, the unknown with God will always be safer, richer, and more beautiful than the familiar without Him. Do not wait for a better time, for there will always be reasons to delay. The enemy of your soul would love nothing more than to keep you hesitating,